magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizard, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's a wizard show.
Sweet mother of God, they cloned Jeremy Crawford. Wizards of the Coast just dropped a bucket load of new news regarding the 2025 Monster Manual, and as to be expected, what could have been quite possibly the easiest product for them to make in 2025, they instead decided to open a brand new treasures chest of stupid. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me. I am your humble guide to all things tabletop role-playing game, your favorite idiot, the OGGM, coming to you live on this windy 8th day of January. I am under a fire warning and an excessive wind warning, and PG&E might shut down the power, so we're winging it here. It's funny because I went to bed last night and I was like, tomorrow's Wednesday, and Wizards of the Coast hasn't even done anything this week. Am I not going to have anything to talk about? Am I just going to talk about the Sly Furish colonization thing? And then I wake up this morning and I was like, oh, thank you, gods of the internet, because Wizards decided to be dumb again. Now, I will preface this statement with a statement I made last year. Of all the products you needed to redo for 6th edition, the Monster Manual is the easiest and probably should have been the first. DM's Guide should have been the last. Because all you had to do was take all the monsters you made in 2014, then look through all the product you made since 2014 to see which one of those changed, cobble them together, and have the AI spit out a brand new version of that monster, and then pay somebody to make new art. Spit spot, done in a week. But no. You had to give us 85 new monsters. And by 85 new monsters, what you meant to say was, we're going to take monsters that already exist and present them with multiple challenge ratings, because that makes it new, right? And then what we're also going to do is change some of the genders of those monsters to be more politically correct and ignore basic history, mythology, and English, because that makes it new, right? No, Jeremy, it doesn't make it new. The 3 hit die orc, the 8 hit die orc, the 10 hit die orc, the 25 hit die orc are not new monsters. They do not need a complete page and brand new artwork. That could have been all just done in a teeny paragraph, a little table. Orc, 3 hit die, orc, 5 hit die. But no. And no, changing the gender of creatures who you already changed the gender of also doesn't make it new. But first, before that, I want to address this. For the longest time, I've talked about how Jeremy Crawford is just a clone that they bring out of a vat. Well, I don't know who this guy is, but look at the love he shows for Crawford. They've replaced Crawford with Perkins. Thank God, Chris, you got out. With this guy. And he sounds just like Crawford. He talks the exact same way Crawford does. His mannerism is the same. It's uncanny. It's like he is trying to be Jeremy Crawford Jr.
Inspired my childhood imagination and continue
Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. And that's going to sound a little weird because there's been...
See, they're exactly the same. They sound exactly the same. My God, Crawford, you finally did it. You cloned yourself. Congratulations. I'm unbelievably frightened, but congratulations. So this is what we're all up in arms about. The 2025 Monster Manual to introduce male versions of Hags, Medusas, and Dryads. There already were male versions of all those in your previous books. No, there weren't. Yeah, there were. The male Dryads were called Mards. The Medusas were called like something else. And Hags, I mean, we don't want to call them Hags anymore because Hag is a derogatory of women. So you could have just called them Oni or Giantkin. And hag is also a specific to women. A male hag would not be a hag. It would be something else. And if it has the exact same abilities, it's not new. Well, they don't have the same abilities. They're completely different, right? No, there is no mechanical difference between the male creatures and the female creatures. So this is solely a change of how some monsters are presented. So they're not new. Also, goblins are now fey creatures again, and gnolls are now fiends, even though they're not fiends. Dryad, according to, I don't know, English, is very specific to the origins of the mythology about creatures tied to trees. And there are male and female versions of these types of pixie, fairies, sprites, whatever you want to call them. So you didn't need to just gender change to be politically correct, because it's once you call it a male dryad, it's not a dryad anymore. The word is very specific to oak tree spirit or oak tree nymph or something like that. And there already was a word for male members of that species. Same with Medusa. Well, actually, Medusa is singular. There's only one Medusa. All the others were Gorgons. Gorgons. Again, right here. And you already had a male version of this species that you presented in the past. I guess you just forgot that. The orcs needed a new art because nobody ever put a sombrero on orcs before now. My God, you're right. Oh my God. Oh, that just blows my whole article. You're right. They are new because they're wearing a hat, right? Didn't what's his name? Sungwon make a joke about, it's a completely different character because it's wearing a hat. Oh, I got the rare Archibald, but do you have rare Archibald wearing a hat? Ah! I'll have to put a link to that skit. All right. They also are now making Subkai genderless, which would no longer make them Subkai. Now, that one I agree with. I do agree with that one, because what a succubus, incubus, sex demon should be is a amorphous concept of lust, and then it takes on the form you most lust after when you summon it. So it's genderless until you summon it, and then if a hot female anime female is what turns you on, it takes that form. If a hot anime male is what turns you on, it takes that form. If a hot anime table is what turns you on, that's the form the succubus, incubus, lust demon takes to corrupt you. Succubus is very specific to female. Incubus is very specific to male. You already had both of those in previous editions. I know you don't want us to admit that there were previous editions, so you didn't need to present a genderless form. You could have just called them lust demons, and then just described in the thing that, all demons are just concepts until summoned, and then they take on the form of what the summoner fears or wants most, right? That made sense. So that's the only one that made sense. A male hag would not be a hag. It would be something else. A male Medusa would not be a Medusa. It would be something else. A male dryad would not be a dryad. It would be something else, because you already had those words. You already created your things. Go back through your previous editions and you will see that there were male Medusas, male dryads. You already did this. You don't need to do it again. In fact, according to you, Wizards of the Coast, you are now openly using the AI. You have told us that. And you told us what you're going to use the AI for. The AI job, you were very specific, is going to go through the past 50 years of product, search through it for ideas and concepts and words, cobble it together, and give us brand new adventures, whatever. So you could have had the AI go through the past 50 years of product, locate all the references to male versions or female versions or whatever you want to call them. I don't think there's any way to have this conversation without upsetting somebody. I don't identify as male. Okay, so I should call you female. I don't identify as female. I'm going to call you table then? Sandwich? What do you identify as? A fire engine? Just tell me your name. It's Ben. Then I'm gonna call you Ben because I don't care what you identify as. My name is the OGGM, and I identify as a sandwich. So this AI already existed. You told us it did. So you could have just said, beep, 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 beep. Every version of Orc from 2014 to now, cobble them together, give us the new Orc. Every version of Medusa from day one to now, both, every type we've even mentioned the word Medusa or Gorgon, cobble them all together, present them with us. And the AI would go, you already did in Male 1. We did? Yeah, you did. They were called like Menther or something like that. So there were male Medusas. Yeah, but they weren't called male Medusas. They were called a different thing because Medusa is a very specific terminology because that was her name. Remember, Medusa is the individual from the story who got turned to this ugly snake monster out of jealousy. Everything after that, like her sisters and the other creatures that have appeared since then, are Gorgon. Medusa was an individual. If there is a species, they're not called the Medusaites. That would be like if I ever spawned a child, all my children would be called OGGMs. No. You don't take the name of the species from the person. Otherwise, we wouldn't call them monkeys. We'd call them by the name of the person who discovered them. Oh, here at the zoo, we have all our Steves because they were discovered by a guy named Steve. So these things existed, but Wizards of the Coast would have us believe they didn't exist until now. We're going to get to that. I already sort of pinned that with my comment about Subkai. That I'm getting to there. I'm getting to there. Why is there a problem? There is no problem. There never was a problem. How's this new mic working, by the way, guys? Wizards of the Coast wants us to think there was a problem because there is a philosophical version while they're doing this and a business version while they're doing it. The philosophical version is dumb. The business version does make sense, right? So the philosophical version, as we know, is that Wizards of the Coast wants to disavow any product they made before 2014 because any product they made before 2014 was associated with Gygax and the horrible old men that created the hobby. And we know that horrible old men who have been in the hobby as long as I have are racist, sexist, homophobic, didn't allow any diversity and didn't allow any inclusion. Only since 2014 has this happened. Nobody who played D&D before 2014 was allowed to play. I was not playing D&D before 2014 because it's been very specifically told to me by Wizards of the Coast that people like me weren't allowed to play D&D until 2014. So the 40 some odd years I've been playing D&D apparently were all in my head because according to Wizards, disabled people weren't allowed to play D&D before 2014. I'm disabled. Jews weren't allowed to play D&D before 2014. I'm Jewish. LGBTQ identifying people were not allowed to play D&D before 2014. I'm LGBTQ. I wasn't playing D&D before that. Nope. No, you weren't. What was I playing? You weren't. Only 5 old white people who are generally referred to as the OSR have been playing D&D. Now, to go even further, Wizards of the Coast now wants us to believe that any product before 2024 never happened. Only now are they truly inclusive and truly diversified. Only now can you come and play, and D&D will say, whatever you want to play, you can be, because now there's male and female versions of hags. Even though that's not what the word means, a male hag would be something else. Anyways, so that's the philosophical version. And the philosophical version, as we know, is dumb because nobody wants that. Not the players, not the people who buy the game, not anybody in the 50-year history wanted them to do this. If you don't believe me, look at all the responses to the changing of racial abilities and stuff like that. They're in the new player's handbook. 90% of those comments, 90% of the dissatisfaction to the changes are from people who are actually playing 6th edition, not people who aren't. By now, people like me and Dice Tales who are not playing and don't have any plan to play have given up. It's like, why am I going to complain? It's not making anything. I'm just not going to play your game. I'm going to play a game by people who don't care. So the people who are making the negative comments are the same people that Wizards of the Coast think want this dumbness. Now, on the bright side, we do have some of the art. And actually, the art, other than having this new weird, dreamy AI quality, is actually the best art I've seen from them of the 3 new products. See, that's frightening. That is terrifying. I have no idea what's going on, but it's action, and we've got some goblins, I think, casting spells. That's cool. I mean, I don't know if I like this dreamy AI, style, but that's just me. And I mean, some people like this. At least it's not the weird shit we saw in the Player's Handbook and the DM's Guide. It's monsters. I mean, look at this. This is frightening. This guy is a freaking nightmare. This is horrifying. That's a dragon. This is freaking awesome. That's obviously AI or well, it might be charcoal. I don't know what that is, but that's cool. That's frightening. Again, it's got the weird fuzzy AI. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but yeah, I know exactly what it is. That sells me on what this is. Don't understand this one. This is the same weird AI, fuzzy, bizarre humanoids doing something with weird hands. I guess it's supposed to be Githyanki. Dude, that one's awesome. Like right there. It's just fuck it. Where was this art in the Player's Handbook and the DM's Guide? Don't know what that is, but it's terrifying. That one could be a little better, but still freaking terrifying. Then we've got girl in dungeon, or maybe male in dungeon with weird looking stairs because whoever did this doesn't know how to make stairs. Mimic. Yeah, you're dead, dude. 2 mimics, 3 mimics, 4 mimics, 5 mimics, 6 mimics. Okay, this one might be my favorite, other than the weird stairs. At least 6 mimics, maybe 7 mimics. This is my favorite. Find the hidden mimics. I don't think that many mimics would live together, but it's a great picture. It's hilarious. I have no idea what the fuck this is, but it's awesome. That's horrifying. That's horrifying. There's the worst monster ever. Right? Rust monster. That's okay. That's okay. That's awesome. That one's dumb. Also dumb. Giants, why would they have fangs? They're giants. What are they, vampire giants? Dude, again, frick, where was this art? I don't know why you'd pierce your arms, but okay. Here's the new male Dryad. That's stupid. This one looks like you just took it right out of Baldur's Gate or an older video game. This one's awful. This one's great, except these are supposed to be demons and they look like they're space beings. Vampires, I guess? Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, so I think we could generally agree that the new art for the Monster Manual is 90% awesome. Where is that art in the Player's Handbook and the DM's Guide? You just now discovered that you had this? Why is dehydration more than danger than starvation in the desert? Because of all the sandwiches there. Sandwich. I see what you did. All right. So we talked about philosophy. why they're doing it. And now we know that's dumb. Now we'll talk about the business reason we're doing it. And it does make sense. They're just doing it the stupidest way possible. So there's the business reason they're doing the changes is because they want their whatever to be specifically theirs. They don't want you to look at table and go, oh, that's the table from Lord of the Rings. No, they want that whatever monster it is to be specifically their take. That's why they changed dragons and the stuff about dragons. That's why they're changing all the monsters. So going forward, there is no connection between their current version of monster and any previous one. It's not a J.R.R. Tolkien dragon. It's not a Franz Lieber orc. It's not a Conan bird person. It is a Wizards of the Coast version. So when those creatures appear in any future merchandise or online, that's 100% theirs, and they control 100% of the IP. So everything is now like the Beholder and the Doppelganger and the ones that are theirs. So anytime going further, if you see a dragon done up the way their specific dragon is now done up, that's their dragon, which makes total sense from a business point of view, right? My basic understanding of Lake Los Angeles is, like, yeah, right now, LA, Southern California, we're not very Red Dragon friendly because we're like stupid 87 different fires. That makes sense. And I can see other businesses doing it. That's our hamburger. That's our soda. That's our chair. You can't say it's racial appropriation, Hobgoblin. You can't say that we stole that orc from Lord of the Rings. That's ours. That makes sense. Because merchandising. And as we know, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro has said repeatedly over the last year, the product as is isn't making us money anymore. We can't make money off of Dungeons and Dragons as it is. We can't make money off of Power Rangers as it is. Those aren't my words. They're Chris Cox's words. The only way we can make money going forward is if we farm out the IP. And if we're going to do that, then was Puff the Magic Dragon a gay song? No, it was about drugs, like most of the songs from that period of time. Is Lucy in the Sky and Diamond about a diamond heist? No, it's about drugs. All you need is love. That's about a romance. No, it's about drugs. LSD, man. So yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense 100%. It's my dragon. The way we're doing this, though, is utterly stupid because you look at the other companies that are doing it, and it makes sense. The way Wizards of the Coast is doing it is this bizarre denial of the past and this ridiculous false narrative of finger pointing. We're going to be racist in a way to show you we're not racist. Just like with the changing of the words, just like with the changing of the biology and histories of dragons, and just like in, giving us multi-sex versions of the exact same monster and giving us multi-hit die version of the exact same monster and saying it's a brand new monster. All right? The 25 hit die orc and the 10 hit die orc. Oh my God, HR&R Puff and stuff. Dude, I knew that Sid and Marty Croft guys when I went back when I was a kid. Definitely drugs. Oh my God. Pretty much all of it was Lidsville, the Bugaloos, drugs. Where was I? You made me lose my train of thought. I guess it means the new mic's working since you can hear me. Blah, blah, blah. So now we get to where we are now. All these stupid changes don't need to be made. And furthermore, if you're going to use the AI to cobble together and give us new things, why didn't you? Because then the AI would have shown you, this already exists, sir. And B, here's a better version to it, because you know what I did? I spent 10 seconds searching the internet, because I'm an AI and I can do that, and, looked up the origins of the word. And from there, I was able to extrapolate that there are already versions of that, and you don't need to make a new one. So what's the solution, and how come Wizards didn't use it? The solution was presented in a role-playing game very, very, very long time ago called It Came from the Late Show / something, what was it called? Stalking the Night Fantastic. And Stalking the Night Fantastic presented every monster as amorphous blob. Amorphous blob number 1, amorphous blob number 3, amorphous blob number 8. That's pretty much how I present my monsters too. All my different slime. Then you would give the description of the monster. And there you go. So amorphous blob 13 would be an orc. So demons, like I said with the succubus and incubus, I think the idea could be, probably, thinking about it now, it is an amorphous concept. And then when it shows up, it takes the form of what you fear or desire most, right? So instead of doing this trans sex, trans race, trans name, trans whatever this is, you could have just, here's an amorphous blob. It shows up. You want it to be a man? It's a man. You want it to be a woman? It's a woman. You want it to be a sheep? It's a sheep. Here's the hit dice. Here's the armor class. Whatever. Go for it. I don't really think when we're slaughtering the hordes of undead, or the slaughtering our way through the evil hags that have just kidnapped all the children in the village, or, defending the city from the onslaught of goblins, or going to hunt out the Medusa because it's threatening to turn the princess to stone, we're going to care about the gender. I don't think anybody's going to stop and go, does that hobgoblin identify as male or female? Am I encountering the male version of the hag that's trying to eat me, or the female version of the hag? Does it make a difference? No, it doesn't. It says right here, it doesn't make any difference. Then why do you care whether it's a male hobgoblin or a female hobgoblin? Why do you care if it's a male hag or a female hag? It's still trying to plant its eggs in your stomach and consume your soul. I don't think the gender matters. Yes, they are. And incubi and succubi already appeared in previous monster manuals, as did the male and female Medusa and the male and female Dryad. There's never been male hags, because hags is a specifically female derogatory thing. But you could call them witches and warlocks, or, I don't know, Oni. Because, you renamed Ogre Magi's Oni, even though Oni is racial appropriation, and we know Wizards of the Coast doesn't do racial appropriation. They could have just been giantkin. That's what I always make them. My hags are just a different type of ogre. I don't even call them hags. My Ogre Magi, just a different type of ogre. Hags, just a different kind, shamans, whatever. So we didn't need this. We didn't want this. You are being attacked by Umber Hulk. We are being attacked by an Umber Hulk. Yes. Is somebody going to stop and go, excuse me, Warplebite, does that Umber Hulk identify as male or female? Well, you could ask it. It's just stuck its claw through your skull. Do you want to take time to go and, and ask it what it identifies as? No, that's the answer. I'm not going to waste time going, excuse me, those monsters that just are attacking my village, what is their gender? What do they identify? And what do they prefer to be called? I don't want that. You don't want that. I can't think of anybody who wants that. I can't think of any moment in any form of media where the hero has stopped to ask this questions. Oh, the stormtroopers are attacking Hoth. Do the stormtroopers identify as male or female, Luke? I didn't take time to ask. Nobody did. Except, obviously, Jeremy Crawford and his clone does. That's still frightening that Jeremy Crawford now has a psychopath clone, but thankfully Chris Perkins is out of the picture. And hopefully he is somewhere smiling and slowly removing himself from Wizards of the Coast. But we don't care about that. I just wasted 30 minutes talking about something that Wizards doesn't give a damn about. Wizards, Jeremy Crawford and his clone will waste that 5 extra seconds and apparently to want to know what is the identification of that creature that is eating my mother because that's so Wizards. Oh, man.
We're laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so Wizards. Oh, oh, oh.